What is up, Trailblazers? Today is Monday, March 18th, 2019. I am Ben Holbrook, and I love cows. Moo! I hope you all had a great weekend and spring carnival. Now please welcome Mateen for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Caps and hats off, right hand on your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thanks, Mateen. For lunch today, we are having cheesy pull-apart, celery sticks, cauliflower, and 10 jellos. I wonder if all the great weather will continue or if the rain will fight back. Let's check this week's weather with our new forecaster, Emma.
Good morning, Trailblazers. Here's this week's weather. Today, it's supposed to be sunny with a high of 79 and a low of 49. And on Tuesday, it's supposed to be partly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 49. On Wednesday, it's also supposed to be partly cloudy with a high of 63 and a low of 48. And on Thursday, it's also once again going to be cloudy with a high of 61 and a low of 46. And on Friday, it's also cloudy with a high of 66 and a low of 48. Back to you, Ben.
Spring Carnival was last Saturday, March 16th. It was really fun. Congratulations to all the winners. Also, yearbook orders are being taken online. If you haven't ordered one, they are due this Friday. Here's Madison with today's birthdays.
Celebrating a birthday today is Haley Anion, Dylan McKebney, and Calvin Tran.
Happy birthday!
Today, there's only one national day, and that is National Awkward Day. Don't flip on a banana peel, folks.
And now we have Abby to tell us the word of the week.
The word of the week is commitment. A commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause, activity, or etc. So, you should commit to going to running club every day next week, like I am.
And now in the NHL, the Avalanche beat the Devils 3-0, the Sabres beat the Blues 4-3, the Islanders beat the Wild 3-2, the Canucks beat the Stars 3-2, and the Flyers beat the Penguins 2-1. And now for the NBA. Now in the NBA, the Knicks beat the Lakers 124-123. The Heat beat the Hornets 93-75. The Bucks lost to the Sixers 130-125. The Pistons beat the Raptors 110-107. The Magic beat the Hawks 101-91. The Kings beat the Bulls 129-102. And you may remember Madison making fun of all the Warriors fans last week. So the Warriors beat the Thunder 110-88. Dubs all day.
Friday is
Tony Tobin Day. Now we have a very special staff spotlight about Tony Tobin's namesake. And it is presented by Mrs. Lawrence.
Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Lawrence. As you know, this week we are celebrating Tony Tobin Day. I thought I would take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Tony Tobin, my grandpa. Tony Tobin was born in San Francisco, California on March 31st, 1914. If he were still alive today, he'd be celebrating his 105th birthday on March 31st. Shortly after he was born, his family moved to Los Angeles, California. There was a terrible flu outbreak, and the doctor told Tony Tobin's dad that he needed to get his family out of Los Angeles. So they moved to Chihuahua Valley with the help of some friends because they didn't even own a car. My grandparents' house was 14 feet by 20 feet. Imagine a room smaller than your classroom. That was their house, and 6 people lived in it. There was no running water or even a bathroom. Their mailbox was 10 miles from their house, and the nearest post office was another 5 miles away from there. The family purchased their first car in 1920. The first school that Tony Tobin attended was a 9-foot by 12-foot tent house frame with a wooden floor and an army tent over it. He had to walk 1 mile each way through the brush. Later, when he was in high school, he and his brother and one of his sisters traveled more than 45 miles one way to get to his school in Julian, California. So they stayed in Julian from Monday to Friday. They each paid $10 a month for room and board. My grandpa had lots of jobs. One of his jobs was he picked potatoes right here on Highway 79, and he was paid 20 cents an hour. 20 cents an hour! He also worked as a clerk at a country store in Warner Springs, and he made $15 a month, and he worked 6 days a week. That's about $2 a day. Soon after that, he worked on a movie set. He worked on a set where they filmed Ramona by Helen Hunt Jackson. Another school in Temecula is named after Helen Hunt Jackson. He eventually moved back to Hollywood, but would pass through Temecula on weekends to attend dances around Temecula. He met my grandma, Mildred, Millie is what her friends would call her, at a dance, and they were married in 1940. They were married for more than 60 years. They adopted 3 children, one of whom was my dad, Gene, and then he got a job as an emergency ambulance driver, and soon after a fireman for the Los Angeles Fire Department. He was also a constable for Sam Hicks. That means he was like a police guy. And we have his original badge. They bought their home. Their first home was $5,600 in 1942. Boys and girls, you can't even buy a car for that amount of money. In 1956, they began to build Woodchuck, which is a Western-themed campground. And it's right across the street from Vail Campground is today. He retired in 1962, and then they moved to Woodchuck that summer. They ran the campground for about 20 years, and then they sold it in 1977. I still remember being a little girl there. I got to spend the weekends, and I even worked behind the candy counter. My sisters and I got to spend every summer on vacations with Tony and Mildred. We were fortunate to camp and visit many national parks, including Mount Rushmore, Bryce, Zion, and so many more. They even took us to Lake Louise in Canada. As early as I can remember, my grandpa loved to collect things and learn about the history of Temecula. His love of history and his connection to the valley inspired him to help open the Temecula Valley History Museum in Old Town. He had thousands of artifacts, and the museum took a lot of them. My grandpa had 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. And he passed away in May of 2001 and would be so honored that this school is named after him.
Now for the joke of the day, submitted to us by Chloe Day in room 24. Here's the joke. What did the cow say to the chicken when the chicken was in front of the TV? Please move over. I'm trying to watch television. Move.
Trailblazers, don't forget, open houses this Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. Bring in your parents to show them all the things you've done this year.
Thank you for enjoying this week's Moose broadcast.
I hope you have a great last week of laughing, listening, and learning.